Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lucky Dog Thursday Trucks. Want to thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Know the duels at Daytona are tonight, so thank you for hanging out with us. This should be our last recruitment race for the Truck Series. Before the season starts. I do believe it starts next week, so definitely look forward to you guys coming out and enjoying that with us. We definitely have the benefit of only really competing with NASCAR tonight, especially the Cup Series. We know that's what everyone shows up for. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll get through our starting lineup real quick before we get too far into things. Starting on pole, we have the 777 of Michael Pegg. To his outside, the number 20 of Zach Fields. Starting third, we have the 81 of Brad Lane. And fourth, we have the 429 of Paul Witt. Starting fifth, we have the number 3 of Will Mitchell. And in 16th, we have the 19 of Mr. Ray Zerkut. Starting seventh, we have the 4 of Larry Eddy. In 8th, we have the 79 of Joe Wright. 9th is the 17 of John Held. 10th is the 43 of Sandy Curtis. 11th is the 16 of Mark Schaefer. And 12th, we have the 78 of Gary Slipinski. Starting 13th, we have the 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. And in 14th, we have myself, but I'm not racing this one. I'm up in the booth, so probably going to DQ that man and let someone else have that position. Starting 15th will be the 91 of Joel Guy. 16th is the 58 of Chris Hogue. If I am seeing everything correctly, it does appear that we've had 5 drivers disconnect. They showed up for qualifying showed up for practice and I guess weren't feeling how the car was feeling tonight. Either that or they're watching the duels, and there's a lot of crazy things going on. I mean, Jimmy Johnson's trying to race his way into the Daytona 500, so a lot of excitement there. Pace car here ducks off turn 4. Down pit road, Michael Pegg leads them to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. Excellent start it looked from that top lane. That 20 side by side almost had a nose ahead of the 777 going through the corner. Michael Pegg's able to clear him. Paul Witt looking to duck low, cleared himself off over the bumper of the 81. He moves him up to third. The 20 goes down the track to block, goes up the track to block. He's trying to prevent that 429 from getting by him all over that backstretch. Paul Witt just goes ahead and settles in right behind him. He's like, okay, you want to tear up your tires that early, go ahead. We'll go ahead and we'll just do our own thing. We'll see you in a couple laps. But he's got a rear view mirror full of the 81 and the 3, Brad Lane and Will Mitchell, all over the rear bumper, that 429. Brad Lane got an excellent run there coming out of turn 2. Long side, looks like he's going to go past. The 3 tries to follow him around the outside, not quite able to get there. I guarantee you he saw what the 81 was able to do. He's going to be thinking about doing that himself, especially if he can get a good push there from the 43 of Sandy Curtis behind him. As things stand right now, we have just about entirely single-filed out, but these guys racing fairly hard. Looks like a 6-car breakaway already. I do believe that is Sandy Curtis in 6th position. Yes, that is Sandy in 6th. They're working their way, trying to get away from the 79 of Joe Wright. Joe close enough that he's getting a good pull from these guys. I don't know what Joe getting a good pull from these guys. Don't know what that's going to do essentially to his lap times. Last time by, he was 0.3 off Sandy Curtis, who is ahead of him. So hopefully he's able to keep this working. Further up, we're getting a little racy. The 81 was able to get past the 20. Zach Fields drops from 2nd to 3rd. Looks like he had a little bit of a connection issue. Hopefully that is the limit of that. That puts Paul back to 5th place. And he started 4th, what was up to 3rd. So he's there running that higher lane, trying to find some kind of run, get some kind of fresh air on the front of that truck. So he goes for the pass on the 3. Mitchell stuck up high. So he'll slot down behind the 429 going through the corner, maybe looking for that crossover move. Not going to be able to do it there. Going to get a really nice pull here down that front stretch. Caution is out. Not certain. I don't see anyone sideways. Let me see here. So the 58 had an issue. Came down pit road, 4 tires, fuel, quick repair it looked like. This is the only person I could find who was not looking like he was up to speed on the track. So I want to see what happened. You know, I bet you what, that is what brought that caution out. We're going to go ahead and we're going to ride along with the 58. I'm going to almost be willing to bet that's a wheel that's a mechanical failure. That looks almost like a mechanical failure there, and that would bring out that caution, especially with where it happened right there at the end of pit road. The cautions in Lucky Dog, for the most part, are iRacing controlled, unless we have 2 or more vehicles spinning down the track. I do believe it's 2 or more vehicles spinning down the track. If iRacing just won't throw that caution, one of our admins will. But with the way iRacing is, if there is a caution, if there's a wrecked vehicle come to a stop right there at the end of pit road, some tracks it'll just go ahead and throw that caution. Even though we saw the 58 of Chris Hogue not only was able to keep his vehicle off the track, he also took that tow as fast as he could, trying to avoid bringing that caution out. That is unfortunate for the 58 there. Well, we have had a major shuffle to our top 5, but for the most part, you know, over the course of that, you know, everyone but Michael Pegg changed the position they were in. Now they're almost right back where they started. So your top 5 as it sits right now is the 777 of Michael Pegg in first, the 81 of Brad Lane in second, the 20 of Zach Fields in third, the 429 of Paul Witt in fourth, and the 3 of Will Mitchell in fifth. So Michael Pegg, Paul Witt, and Will Mitchell all running where they started. Brad Lane and Zach Fields have swapped positions on the track. Now, this is going to be an interesting thing to keep an eye on, because the 81 here had the benefit, I would say, of starting that little 7-8 lap stint we had on the bottom, and you get really good runs, especially at the initial start and every restart. That bottom just gets going so well. The 20 here restarted on the outside, and we saw that he was having Paul Witt looking low right there immediately, almost on the exit of turn 2. So he was under fire from everybody on that initial start. This time, though, he will be on the bottom in third, so he's going to have a much better spot. He's going to be looking at taking that spot back from the 81, see if he can stick that car back in second. Hopefully, though, when we see he has a little bit of a blink there again, hopefully his internet stables out. I mean, he's fast in qualifying so far. I mean, it's a little bit of a short stint here, but hopefully everything goes all right. So we should, I'm not certain if we're getting the one to go. I was listening to the admins talk a little bit to see if they were Going to advance it to 1 to green a little bit early. Looks like the field is pulling. Yes, we are 1 to green, so the field is pulling 2 wide here. Hopefully that 20 stables out. We'll keep an eye on that. Alrighty, so we are on lap 10. We will be retaking the green flag here on lap 11. Again, your top 5. Michael Pegg in first, Brad Lane in second, Zach Fields in third, Paul Witt in fourth, and Will Mitchell in fifth. And they've got 79 of Joe Wright here looking to make plays. He was showing some speed there. And then the 78 of Gary Sapinski, he was definitely starting out there towards the back, started 12th up to 7th, so he's already looking at making moves. Keep an eye on him. Looks like the 58 of Chris Hogue is back out, currently scored 5 laps down. Hopefully everything with him is okay. Green flag is back in the air. Much better start from that bottom. The 81 got a nice arrow push from the 429 going through the quad oval there, side by side with Michael Pegg going into turn 1. We've already seen what that bottom's going to do. Clears the 81. 81 under fire from the 20. He's got the 429 running up high looking for that momentum run. He's going to get a shot more than likely going down this backstretch side by side with the 20. As they go into turn 3, we are 2 by 2 by 2 from second on back. All these guys looking to make up that track position. That 20 does a good job sliding up there, blocking that run from the 81 for a little bit, trying to get that preferred lane. He goes up 1 lane from Michael Pegg, trying to get the air on the front of that truck, but also trying to see if he can make up that position. Dives to the bottom. Michael Pegg goes to block. 20 goes right back up to the top. Zach Fields not wanting to follow. He wants to lead. Not something you're used to seeing this early in one of these races, but he is sending it like it is the last laps. He pushes Michael Pegg through that quad oval. He is looking for all the speed he can. He's got a rearview mirror full of the 81. He wants to get gone. Looking for a cutback maybe here on the exit of turn 2. Not going to get it. Slides to the outside. Goes for it again. Gets the inside of Michael Pegg right there at the quarter panel. Gets to his inside. They are side by side going through turns 3 and 4. He's able to get past Michael Pegg. Not quite. Not able to clear Michael. Gets a nice push from the 81. Completes the pass. New leader, 20, Zach Fields. But he is already under fire from the 81. 777 looking to get his lead back. That 3 waiting in the wings to see what he can do. And all the while, the 429 out here racing side by side with Michael Pegg. Sorry, with Gary Sapinski. Michael Pegg here going for that pass back on the bottom. Looking to retake that lead here from the 20 of Zach Fields. Look like he's going to be able to get it. Zach not able to keep that side draft going. Tries to slap it on here going down the front stretch. Pull Michael back to him going down the front stretch. It's not quite going to pay off just yet. Michael's able to get clear, but we already know that top side gets really good runs. The 20, though, not going to be able to dive to the inside like he did take that lead. He's going to be stuck on the outside, going to have to make it stick, see if he can get a good run here off the top coming out of turn 4. See, he was pinching Michael Pegg down pretty hard, putting on as much of a side draft as he could. Looks like Michael leads that lap. So we are 6 cars all fighting for the lead. The 81 just looking to see what he can do. Oh, a little bit of a bobble there from the 20. He gets fired up the track right into the lap of the 78. 3 wide down the backstretch. 78, 81, 429 all looking to shoot the gap. 20 gets shuffled back all the way to the 5th place. Looks like 6th place is the 429 of Paul Witt. Takes him here on the inside. This 777 of Michael Pegg. He's out front. Looks like he's caught up to the back end. I think that's the 58 of Chris Hogue. He's running right up there against the wall, trying to stay out of all these guys' way. Bad place to catch him, though, right there at the exit of turn 2. He's not wanting to hold him up, but unfortunately, just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Everyone keeps going in the right direction. Good job, 58, keeping it out of the way. Heads up driving from everybody. And all this has allowed Michael Pegg to build a half-second lead here, just about on the second-place driver, 81 of Brad Lane, who is just absolutely getting his rear bumper mauled by the 78, the 3, and the 429. That 20 looking to insert himself back into this picture. Tell you who I want to take a look from. I want to go ahead and watch here from the 17 of John Held. This guy has the view of everything that's going on. This is probably the best seat in the house right here, riding along with the 17. He's got a lot of respect from the drivers ahead of him. They're leaving just enough space that they're all able to make these corners, pushing for all they're worth. They don't want Michael Pegg to be out there ahead in that clean air for too long. Gary Sapinski is able to move himself up to the second position. 20 blinks out there real quick. That's kind of scary. That's something you got to worry about. Caution is out. Looks like the 16 and the 4 are off the pace. Wonder if this has to do with them. 91 also showing pretty far back. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look here. We're going to see if we can figure out what happened. So far, looking at everything I have. All right, so it looks like the 4 was just trying to catch up. I'd be willing to bet here. Looks like the 16 was also just trying to catch up. Who is that he passed on the inside there? That's the gear wrench. Isn't that the 58? That's the 58 of Chris Hogue. Brings it to a stop. And immediately takes the tow. So it does appear that that caution was caused by the 58. Chris Hogue looks like he's still having some technical issues. Just brought it in, parked it instead of causing a caution. You know, wrecking someone else. So good for him. That's going to re-rack this field. I know some folks aren't in the field aren't too happy that we have 2 cautions, 21 laps in, but I would rather, I don't know about them, I would rather have a caution for someone, you know, recognizing they got a mechanical problem and just getting it off the track rather than taking someone out. So I think all of us are going to take some solace in that. I'm cool with that if you are. So what this caution has done, this is going to go ahead and shuffle our entire field. 81 of Brad Lane stayed out. He will be your leader. The 43 is Sandy Curtis. He stayed out as well. He'll be restarting in second. But it looks like everyone behind them came to pit road. The 777 of Michael Pegg will be restarting third. The 78 of Gary Sapinski to his outside in fourth. And in fifth, we have the 3 of Will Mitchell. All of these guys, 4 tires and fuel. If I remember looking at the conditions for the race, these cars are running at a slightly reduced fuel load. We were only seeing about 36, 37 laps of fuel. So these guys theoretically, it would be very close. Theoretically, they could be able to make it if they can save on 1 tank of fuel. Brad Lane and Sandy Curtis do definitely need to start thinking about when they're coming down pit road, because they cannot be out too much longer. They are on older tires than everyone else, and they also have much less fuel. Brad Lane, 23 laps on this tank. He's been out since the green flag. Sandy Curtis came down pit road. When he last came down pit road, he only took gas. And that's what's put him up here in the 2nd place. So all of these guys here need to keep on their toes for the 2 ahead of them on these older tires. But I'd say most importantly, that 81 of Brad Lane really needs to be thinking about when he comes down pit road. If you're going to run as hard as you can, I don't think you can make it from here. But if you take it easy, like real easy, try and stretch this, you might be able to make it. And we're definitely going to see at least one guy try it. Don't know if it's going to work, but he's going to try it. Lights are out on the pace car, so they will be coming down pit road. This time, 81 is your control car, 43 to his outside. Pace car ducks off onto pit road. 81, Brad Lane leads them into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. About dead even start there for your front 2. Get a little bit of a gap between themselves and the guys behind them. We already know how this is going to work out. That 81 is going to clear the 43 before they make it to turn 2. But the 777 all over the back bumper of the 81. Those are those fresh tires already coming into play. Michael Pegg looking low to make that pass. It looks like he is well on his way. He brings the 3 of Will Mitchell and the 78 of Gary Sapinski with him. Paul Witt waiting in the wings back there, 4th on the bottom, trying to make whatever he can. Sandy Curtis looking for a hole that just was not there. These guys are slowly being shuffled back through the field. Michael Pegg back out to the point. Will Mitchell doing his best to try and follow him through. Sandy Curtis trying to get a run there along the top. Oh, the 3 goes around off the nose of the 78. Caution is out. Oh, looks like the 3 got tagged by somebody else. Go back and take a look at that. See, they're coming out of turn 2. No, the 3 just got loose, pushing it way too hard. Looked like that was the 52. That was a 52. Gary Whitmer Sr. got into him there on corner, on the exit there. See, the 79 ahead of him was already sideways. All kinds of folks being loose. He looked to dodge 79, and that's what tagged the 3. Unfortunate. I think the 3 was able to drive away, so that is good. So we'll go ahead and we'll ride along with the 3 here. Absolutely drilled there, but like we mentioned, is able to get it going. Go ahead and look at it from the chopper here. Yep, just switched sideways and just got tagged a little bit there. Alrighty, so that is going to adjust the our top 5 here. Looks like the 3 is still in pit road, probably trying to get his optional. repaired off. We'll go ahead and we'll run through our top 5 here. The 777 of Michael Pegg is going to be your leader. The 81 of Brad Lane will be restarting second. The 429 of Paul Witt is in third. The 43 of Sandy Curtis is in fourth. And the 17 of John Held is in fifth. That little bit of contact looked like he was fired off into the inside wall. The 78 of Gary Slapinski, he has been dropped back to the 11th position, currently showing on the board. And the 3, he's been dropped back to the 13th position. So that puts him back here at the very end of the field. Not what we're used to seeing here in Lucky Dogs. It's very rare that we have this many cautions this early. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look and see. So we're going to go ahead and grab someone, bring them up here to talk to him. You know, we're going to grab the 78. Gary Sapinski, it's William in the booth. You got me?
Go ahead, Will.
Hey, I mean, it's been a pretty exciting night from up here. You know, I think this is our 3rd caution here. You've gone from the back to the front, and you're all the way in the back again. Looks like you got this truck figured out, carving through traffic pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty good, Mel. I mean, I was kind of just taking my time and, you know, let the tires come to me. Fortunately, somebody got a little loose in front of me. I really had nowhere to go other than jump on the pedal and try to get out of the way. But I barely touched him. I mean, I only had 8 seconds of damage or 10 seconds of damage, so I don't think it was that bad. So I think it's fine. I just took the damage and I fixed it, and we're back on the racetrack here.
Well, that's good because, I mean, we were looking at that from our perspective. That hit looked really, really bad. And what we can see, your truck looks pretty good. So long as your wheel's straight, I think you should be okay.
Yeah, it feels fine. It really does. I think it's good.
So I think we got a good idea of what this truck feels like on the short runs. What do you think these long runs are going to feel like with this reduced fuel load?
I mean, I was a little loose. It was showing loose when we had that pit. Not this one, but the other one. It was showing loose, so it might get a little loose in the long run. But I don't know. We'll see. See how it goes.
Alrighty. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll put you back with your team. Good luck, Gary, and hopefully we talk to you at the end of it.
Thank you, Will. Enjoy the rest.
All right, and that was the 78 there of Gary Slapinski. So he's had a very exciting night this evening. We'll go back to your leader, 777 of Michael Pegg. 81 to his outside, 429 behind. Who does he need to worry about the most? Back in the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. About even start from all 4 of these drivers here at the front. 81 got a monster launch. He was a nose ahead of Michael Pegg going into that turn, but Michael Pegg cleared him already. Looks like Paul Witt's going to try and clear. Looks like he is able. Paul looking to try and set sail. Those guys on older tires, see if he can take the fight here to Michael Pegg. Michael Pegg convincingly out in the lead. You see the sparks coming off of these trucks. They bottom out going through turns 3 and 4. Even with these older, looks like Brad Lane and Sandy Curtis still had not come down pit road. So both these guys still on old tires, hanging on really well. 20 of Zach Fields is all the way back into 4th place, looking to get right back up there in the mix. He blinks out there in front of the 43, pops back in, no issue. Despite the age on those tires, 32 laps on those tires, that 81 Brad Lane is really keeping up with these guys ahead of him pretty well. the 20 as Zach Fields goes for that pass low. He's probably going to be able to make it right here. We were talking with him a little bit ago. He was taking his time. He got shuffled back to the 11th place. Gary Sapinski already inside the top 5. Just carved his way through traffic. You got to know these guys ahead of him. They are worried about this car right here. So we go back to the lead. 777 of Michael Pegg, 429 of Paul Witt. These guys are just doing what they can to sort of work together. Paul doesn't seem like he's going for a pass every single lap, just looking for his moment. And in the meantime, doing his best to work with that 777 of Michael Pegg to get out ahead of the 20 here. That 20 is latched onto the rear bumper, the 429 of Paul Witt. Both 429 and the 20 need to be really careful not to overdrive their trucks, not push too hard. You know, Gary Sapinski was talking about how the truck was showing loose. 20 goes for a pass there on the 429. Truck showing loose there on that longer run they had there, but that's something they're really going to really have to worry about the longer this run goes. But the other thing these guys are going to have to worry about, you know, you overdrive that corner, especially corner entry, you're going to tear out that right front right from under you, and that is, we've talked about it before, plowing tight, wrecking loose. You do not want a truck that's doing both. And Texas Motor Speedway is probably the best track on the schedule to do that. 429 of Paul Witt, not able to clear this 20. Or better yet to say, the 20 not able to clear the 429. Michael Pegg pulling Paul Witt down one straightaway, pulling Fields down the other. These guys just not able to get away from each other. Oh, 20 looks like he's getting loose. Saves it. That's going to hurt his momentum. 429 should be able to clear him. He is able. That's 78 all over the back of the 20. And the most impressive thing, the 81 of Brad Lane. 36 laps on these tires. He is right here, 5th place, sticking with these guys with no real issue. This is going to be a dangerous man on a long run. This guy looks like he knows how to take care of his tires. That Mega Death 81 truck looking like it's almost running on new tires, hanging with these guys with no real issue. Let's go ahead and let's ride along with him. I think we heard exactly how he's doing it. He's already lifting going into turn 3, doing his best to save that right front. And you know, see, he's rolling a lot through turns 1 and 2, just letting the draft and the 78 pull him through. There's plenty of air being broken up ahead of this 81 truck that he is getting all the pull that he needs. But with his few lapses compared to what we're used to having a fuel in these trucks, you got to wonder how much longer than he'd go. He's lap 39 right now, and we did have quite a few pace laps in there, but not enough that I think he can make it to doing this on one stop. We'll see. He's more than likely going to be thinking about pit road here before too long. This 4-truck breakaway, they're starting to pull away from that 81 truck just a little bit. 20 was able to, Zach Fields able to get by Paul Witt. Paul Witt, though, all over the back bumper of that 20 truck. Looking like he's going for a pass here going into turn 2. Turn 1, able to get to the inside. Not quite able to do anything with it. That 20 hanging it around the outside. That truck looked like he was drifting it through there. Hopefully he's not overdriving that car on corner exit. Do not want to wear out that right rear. That's not something normally that we talk about, people wearing out the rear of the car. Usually it's the right front that we worry about the most. It's 429. It's under fire from the 78. 70 looking like maybe he wants to go underneath Paul Witt. Not quite able to get there. Paul thinking about going low here on the 20. Got a good enough run. Got to the quarter panel. Dives it off here into turn 3. These guys are racing so very hard. Oh, they get into it. 20 into the wall. Not certain if that was netcode. He keeps it up out of the way of everybody. He is not going to be happy about that. We're going to go back and we're going to take a look at it. Let's go ahead and watch from our friend the Chopper. They sail it off in there. And it looks like, I mean, the 20 gave a little bit of a side draft to the 429, but the nuts, I don't know if that was a net code or if the 429 hit the apron. It could go either way. I'm leaning towards the 429 hit the apron, trying to give the 20 room. And that's just how that cookie crumbled, unfortunately. So that'll go ahead and that'll bring the 20 down pit road. He is going to have to get that damage repaired off. Unfortunately for him, this is going to put him off the pit cycle. So he just comes down, gets that truck fix and heads back out. So that should keep the 20 from going a lap down. I don't believe, well, no, he might be a lap down because he did have to come around with that damage. He's currently scored being a lap down. So that would put then him in our lucky dog position if we get a caution. All these guys still racing very, very hard. 78, Gary Sapinski finally got to the back bumper of the 777 of Michael Pegg. 3 of Will Mitchell running in third. It looked like the 81 finally decided to peel off here on lap, oh my goodness, 46 coming to lap 47. This man got a lot of fuel out of that truck. He's going to have to run, do believe, less time on old tires than everyone else around him. So we'll see. This might be the play that wins the race. So he was able to hang on to those guys very well. As Jack goes down on the right side, Jack goes up on the left side. He has just been put a lap down by your leader, Michael Pegg. 3 of Will Mitchell challenging Gary Sapinski for that second position. So he's almost looked like he's dirt tracking it there coming out of the exit of 2. Definitely have to be careful of that the longer this run goes. Of course, if any of these guys pit here, they'll only have to stop one more time to be able to make the end. Not certain what the right pit call is going to be. 81 still on pit road. Not certain what's going on here. Don't know if he had damage and he's just getting it repaired off. That should put him now 2 laps down. It's unfortunate. He was doing a lot of really good work keeping it up there with our leaders. As he is now down and away, looked like he opted to take some optional repair would be my guess. Except most unfortunate because of how fast he was managing to go. Michael Pegg here really hanging on to that top spot. 3, Will Mitchell, giving Gary Sapinski a lot to think about. Gary, though, cool as a cucumber. Doing everything he can to just keep that truck pointed in the right direction, all while the 429 of Paul Witt, he is pushing as hard as he can to get back up to these guys. He knows that optimal pit time. It's probably going to be shooting for it to be hit halfway. And he last down pit road 31 laps ago, so he's got to be thinking about pit road before too long. Especially with as hard as he's running further up the track than most of these guys. So there's not going to be a lot of opportunity to save fuel as he looks to pass the 3 low going here into turn 3. As he dives it down in there, the 3, Mitchell just lets him go, looking for that cutback there on the exit. Paul Witt does a good job of covering that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to ride along with the 3 of Will Mitchell here for a lap or 2. lot of speed. And that 3 of Will Mitchell looked like maybe earlier on he was really overdriving, but he is really hanging with these guys very well. Looked like he had to get out of it there. Maybe that truck was really pushing up the track there going through turn 2. It's on a similar fuel strategy here to the 78 of Gary Sapinski. 429 of Paul Witt opting to bring it down pit road. So he'll be hitting pit road before the 777 of Michael Pegg. Both those guys on the same age tires, both 35 laps. So what does your leader, Michael Pegg, do? How does Gary Sapinski in the 78 respond? Both these guys have some really, really good pace. Gary Sapinski up the track. Michael Pegg looking like he's opting to stay out. They're going to do everything they can, build a little bit of space, a little bit of breathing room between themselves and the 429. Left side Jack comes down, Paul Witt down and away, so this will go ahead and put him a lap down. By the time he is up to speed, should be about a lap and a half, but he's going to have those fresh tires. And he was right on the bumper of the 2 of these guys. Every lap they stay out is going to be time they give to the 429, but at the same time, Texas so rough on everyone's tires. I'm not entirely certain that pitting early is going to work in Paul Witt's favor. He is still going to have to stop one more time, according to my math. It's Gary Sapinski, slight brush to the wall, almost. And maybe he's able to keep it off the wall. He's sticking it right here, right behind the 429. These two run so well together. Just trying to draft together, build that lead. All while that 3 of Will Mitchell doing everything he can to keep up with these guys. He's only 0.7 of a second back. I mean, his lap times, are hundredths off the 2 ahead of him, so he's not slow by any means. And behind him, the 17 of John Held, pedaling for all he's worth, trying to catch up. He's got just enough of a pull from Will Mitchell that he's not fallen out of contention of this thing, but 39 laps on these tires. He's going to be thinking about coming to pit road before too long. And actually, I think this is what we're seeing out of the 777 and the 78. If they can push it just a few more laps, I'd be willing to bet these guys we were talking about saving, if they can save Michael Pegg coming to pit road right here, if he's able to save on this last stint, all he'll have to do is save about 3 laps. And he might not have to pit again. So this could be his final stop. We will see. 429 of Paul Witt. He pit way too early 5 laps ago for him to be able to make it. He's going to have to come down pit road at least for a splash and go. He's the first car to complete their green flag stop. Gary Sapinski coming down pit road. Lap 60 to 61. He'll need to go 40. Oh, he loops it. Coming on to pit road, just pushed it too hard. That's going to kill his track position. Unfortunate Gary Sapinski. This will give the lead to the 3 of Will Mitchell. He's still out. Got to imagine he'll be coming to pit road here before too long. He's down there on the bottom. Looks like he's slow on the bottom. He is coming to pit road. Heard what happened to Gary Sapinski, really backed off his pit entry, trying to make sure that he came out smelling like a rose. Looked like he was able to successfully do so. So that'll give the lead to the 17 of John Held. 42 laps on these tires. He's going to be thinking about pit road here before too long. 42 laps. If he pits here, he'll only have to go 38. So he more than likely will not have to at all pit after this, but he's going to have to think about pit road before too long. He's got that 429 of Paul Witt bearing down on him, looking to get that lap back the hard way. The 3 of Will Mitchell comes off pit road. 429 and the 777 able to make a lot of time on him. 17 down low. He's coming to pit road. He's not going to have to stop again, I do not believe. So the 4 of Larry Eddy, he will be your leader this time by. 36 laps on this tank of fuel. We are to the point where everyone can come down pit road and they can make it to the end without really any kind of fuel saving. Obviously, we had a few guys who came down pit road a little early. Those guys are going to have to come down pit road one more time for a splash and go. 429. Paul Witt, I think, right at the top of that list. I think maybe he was hoping for a caution. Might be the boat he is in. 17 is off pit road. Staying out for as long as he did, he lost a lot of time. He's coming off pit road here. Looked like there's a problem with that truck. He stops it. Caution is out. He gets out. That'll be the caution that Paul Witt was hoping for. Not certain what happened to the 17. And we'll ride along. Not entirely certain what's going on there, but does appear like he is out of the truck. Don't know if that is more mechanical issues or what. This is the kind of thing, like we said, that this man right here, second place Paul Witt, was hoping for. We got a lot of guys a lap down. Larry Eddy, Paul Witt, Michael Pegg. He's the only guys on the lead lap so far that I can see. Looks like everyone else here behind the pace cars looking to be taking that wave around. Paul Witt coming down pit road. This is where he takes that splash of fuel that gets him to the end. This is where the 777 of Michael Pegg, he takes that splash of fuel, gets him to the end. 4 of Larry Eddy comes down. He takes his service. As we were already saying, he was going to need to come down pit road before too long. Jack drops on the left side. He is down and away. .429 of Paul Witt comes down second, comes off second, and the 777 of Michael Pegg, he has topped off his truck, so 429, 777, and the 4, both, all these guys are going to be able to make it to the end. Looks like the 78 of Gary Sapinski currently scored 4th. Not certain if he was our lucky dog or if he was able to stay on the lead lap. I think he was our lucky dog there. And I got word from the tower, most unfortunate. I think he had one heck of a strategy going for him. The 17. The 17 of John Held had some connectivity issues. Is most unfortunate. I think there was definitely something he had for the rest of the field there. And so, as we come across the start-finish line, we get to go down our top 5 here. And actually, I think I'm going to hold off on that because I do believe everyone ahead of the 4 of Larry Eddy is a lap down. All of these guys, more than likely, looking to get that wave around. They've already been down and away to get their last service of the evening, or what we hope to be their last service of the evening. With some of the cautions we've had tonight, I gotta wonder, is it a full moon? Because it looks like everyone's equipment is malfunctioning tonight. 17 to John Held, connection issues. Looked like the 58 had hardware issues. That's not something you expect. But at the same time, we did have a small update. So, you know, it could be on iRacing's end. We're not entirely certain, but it's unfortunate what happened to both of those drivers there. See, it looks like the 91, I do believe that's the 16. 16 coming down pit road. The 52, no, it wouldn't be the 52. It'd be the 3. It's a bunch of these guys, the 43 as well. These guys going ahead and getting their lap backs out and put Will Mitchell, Sandy Curtis, Joel Guy back on the lead lap as they take the wave around. So that should give us 7 cars on the lead lap. That caution coming out when it did was unfortunate for a bunch of drivers. Unfortunately, the 16 of Mark Schaefer, he came down pit road, but the 52, Gary Whitmer Sr., Gary Sr. had only been on, no, Gary Sr. was, he's trapped a lap down, the 20's trapped a lap down, the 81 is trapped 2 laps down. I think those guys looked at what had happened and realized that maybe they weren't going to be able to make it from there, but that is unfortunate. As we head back into the Geico restart zone, hopefully for the last time for Larry Eddy. About even start there with Paul Witt. Paul was about half a truck back. 4 should be able to clear him going here into turn 1. He's already getting a little bit of a push from the 777. 777 taking it low. 3 wide for the lead coming out of turn 2. Michael Pegg low, Paul Witt high, Larry Eddy sandwiched in the middle. That 81 looking to make some moves. That 20, oh, 4 goes around. Think he got tagged from behind. That'll bring your caution out. And we'll take a look. Was that, is it the 81 behind him, I do believe. We'll go ahead and we'll watch here from our chopper cam. They go into turn 2. Yep, he got tagged there by the 81. Wonder if the 4 checked up to try and let the 777-429 go. Go ahead and we'll ride along with Larry Eddy. He's 3 wide middle here. He did. He lifted right there, and I don't think the 81 expected that. And you heard as soon as the 81 saw that 4 getting closer, he got out of the throttle. But as close as they were, I'm not certain there was a move he could have made. And he himself was not in the best position to try and avoid that. Now to go ahead and give your lead to the 777 of Michael Pegg. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through your top 5. I feel pretty confident about our running order this evening. So restarting 4th will be the 777 of Michael Pegg. In 2nd will be the 429 of Paul Witt. In 3rd will be the 78 of Gary Sapinski. 4th will be the 3 of Will Mitchell. And 5th will be the 91 of Mr. Joel Guy. Well, that looks like that's getting updated. Look like the 53's headed, 43's headed around. 43, your 5th place vehicle. See, I said I felt pretty confident about it, and it changed. No, Sandy is in 6th. Joel is in 5th. All right, spectacular. So we will be going green this time by Zach Fields was the recipient of the lucky dog this time. So that'll put him back on the lead lap. He'll be happy about that. 27 laps to go. It's plenty of time to pick his way through the field and insert his name there in the top 5 to try and bring home that checkered flag. Pace car brings us through turn 3 and 4. Ducks off onto pit road. Michael Pegg, control car. Paul Witt 2 is outside into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. Fantastic start from that top lane. Gary Sapinski not quite able to be on that back bumper there of that 777, though Michael Pegg should likely clear Paul Witt easily here going into turn 2. He and the 78 both able to get Paul Witt. Oh, 43's around. Big stack up behind. 4, the 52, the 16, 43. Lots of stuff happening there. Not entirely certain what happened there. That definitely looked like the 43 is Sandy Curtis. Just got loose. See the 20. He saw this happen. He's got a good run. Sees the 43 go around. That didn't look like he turned up the track. We'll go ahead and we'll ride along with the 16 here. And it looked like he was sliding up to try and avoid it, but the 16 stayed in the throttle. Unfortunately, 20 just collected himself. We'll ride along with the 4 of Larry Eddy. Just, he saw it happen to his inside, just caught up by the folks behind him. Gary Whitmer Sr. Gets into it there. He's got some broken steering. That would explain why he couldn't keep it off the 4. You can see that wheel cranked super hard to the left, and it's just barely turning. See, it is still cranked out there to the left. Hopefully he still has a fast repair. He can get this vehicle fixed. The 3 of Will Mitchell appears that he has opted to park it for the evening. And yes, the 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. coming down pit road with the 16. Green flag. So I missed it looking at them coming down to get their trucks fixed. Green flag is back out. Michael Pegg, Gary Sapinski, Sandy Curtis, Paul Witt, Joel Guy were your top 5. Gary Sapinski looking to try and make some moves there on Michael Pegg. Sandy Curtis looking to do the same thing on the freshest tires here up front. The only person with fresher tires than him is Paul Witt in 5th. Now in 4th, it appears. Sandy Curtis looking to make the most of those tires while he can. Slides up, almost collects the 78 of Gary Sapinski. They're able to recover. 43 goes low. Trying to defend that bottom from the 78. He knows he's got to do what he's got to do. Taking that short way around the track. Michael Pegg drops down trying to block that run. Looks like he's fairly successful. But he's doing a really good job of keeping the 78 and the 43 side by side. That's really going to wear those tires out. But what it's also going to do is it's going to slow up that 429. He knows how fast Paul Witt is here. He doesn't want to deal with him. So if he can keep him behind the 43 and the 78 for as long as he can, Michael Pegg opting to block that bottom lane. Just killing that run the 43 had. Like I said, does a great job of keeping the 43 and the 78 side by side. Got to be careful doing that. Blocking these, blocking runs like that. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it here in Lucky Dog. We see it in real life. We see it everywhere. After a while, folks get tired of that and they start pushing you. Maybe when you're not expecting to get pushed. Sandy's showing that his truck is faster than the 777, but he just can't seem to get by as he's pushing real hard on the 777 here going into turn 1. Sandy's got that run. Looks like he got a little loose there. Paul Witt goes to battle him there on the outside. He's not going to be able to clear Sandy here before turn 3. Sandy keeping it down low in the draft of Paul Witt, but that draft of Michael Pegg, but that 429 of Paul Witt, he's going to have that run. Now Michael Pegg goes to keeping the 429 and the 43 side by side. Use up their fresh tires. Paul Witt on 9-lap fresher tires than Michael Pegg. Sandy Curtis got to the inside, finally got there, side by side. Michael Pegg, 429 of Paul Witt, dives down low to continue taking this fight to him. 5 cars under a blanket, all fighting for first place. 429 of Paul Witt keeps to the inside of the 777. That's where he wants to be. 43 of Sandy Curtis gets that good arc going through down into turn 1. Michael Pegg trying to pinch that 429 down. Can't quite hold it. 43 got loose, I believe. Takes it up the track. Is able to keep it going straight to 429. And the 777 fight it out. Michael Pegg trying to pinch Paul Witt for all he's worth. He's going to have a good run there up along the top. Paul Witt's got that preferred line going here into turn 1. Michael Pegg just hanging it out right there around the outside. There's a lot of speed to be found up there. If he can get a little bit of help from that 78. Oh, he and the 429 bang doors. Where does Gary Sapinski go? We know how well he works with Paul Witt. We know how well he works with with Michael Pegg. Michael Pegg getting excellent entry into turn 1. Really getting in the throttle coming out of turn 2. Got a much better run down the backstretch than the 429 did. He's recognizing, oh, 429 is loose. He's seeing that bottom lane, if you just take a little bit of air off that truck, it just gets super loose down there on the bottom. Wonder if maybe that's what happened to the 43. Either the 429 took some air off the spoiler or maybe gave him a little nudge, not certain. But taking air off that spoiler, we saw how loose Paul Witt got, so we know that Sandy Curtis could not have been stable with the 429 as close as he was. It's 429 able to clear himself back into second place. Michael Pegg out front enjoying that lead, that clean air. That's something he needs. Like we said, nine lap older tires than the 429. Paul Witt sends it on the outside, hits the outside wall. That's going to hurt that truck. That truck probably pushing really, really hard. That last 78, Gary Sapinski, and the 4 of Larry Eddy to look to his inside. Larry going for it. He's able to send it off here into turn 1. Paul Witt keeping it there in that outside, trying to get as much momentum as he can. So he's got a good run. Just able to get to the inside of the 4 of Larry Eddy, put himself back into the 3rd position right on the back bumper of that 78. But Gary Sapinski, if there's damage on that 429, it must not be much to really affect the performance of that truck. You see what looks to be a little bit of wrinkle. No, that might just be the lines of the truck. Hit that wall pretty hard, but it looks like it's running like new. 4 of Larry Eddy able to get back to the inside of the 429. Paul Witt just like, oh, come on. He wants to be up there challenging that 78 for second, getting after that 777 for the lead. Gary Sapinski, though, right now content to just ride the tire tracks of Michael Pegg. He knows he can make this pass pretty much whenever he wants. These guys on very similarly aged tires. I mean, we're seeing how Larry Eddy and Paul Witt keep swapping the position back and forth between them. All Gary Sapinski needs to do is put together a run coming out of turn 2 or coming out of turn 4. He can really start making Michael Pegg sweat. So we take the 10 to go signal. Paul Witt right back up there in 3rd place, still hanging it there around the outside. You see that truck slide sideways. Tries to bring it to a stop, hits the wall. No, caution is out. And that's going to set us up, I think, for about a 5-6 lap shootout to the end. Paul Witt damage on the back of that truck. He's going to want to get that fast repaired. Tell you who doesn't want to see that at all. These two right here. They were making time. They were making moves. They were making plays. And now they got to think about coming back to pit road. 25, 26 laps on their tires. Somewhere in there. If you've got a fresh set, smoke them if you got them. We saw that as it happened. 429 of Paul Witt just pushed it way too hard there. Not outside lane. Truck just would not hold. The 52, Gary Whitmer Sr. Looks like he's going to be our lucky dog recipient. So he gets one of his laps back, so that will put him 1 lap down. Jack up on the right side of the 777. So Michael Pegg does have a set of tires. Gary Sapinski, left side down. He just took tires. 429. He had about a 20-second stop. Not certain if he took tires or not, if he had any. Does look like he got that truck repaired. That will put him at the end of the field. So your top 5. So 777 of Michael Pegg, the 78 of Gary Sapinski, the 4 of Larry Eddy, the 43 of Sandy Curtis, and the 91, hit the right one, the 91 of Joel Guy. be your top 5. Gary Whitmer Sr. looks like he was given the wave around. So to go ahead and put him back on the lead laps. All 7 of your remaining vehicles on the lead lap. Everyone, with the exception of Gary Sr., came down pit road. 4 tires and fuel. As we get our 1 to go, look like that was thrown now that everyone is together. They don't want to wait another lap. Now, I can't say I blame them. They'll be retaking the green flag here on lap 95. And that'll give us, I do believe, 6 laps. 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Yep, that is 6 laps these guys will have to run here to end this race. Who's the best at short runs? Sandy Curtis, he's fast. He's been showing that he's fast every single week here in these recruitment races. He seems to get faster and faster and faster. He's especially good in a tight car. And I know he's fantastic on short runs. Michael Pegg, Gary Sapinski going to have to worry about him. For Larry Eddy, he's no joke. 91 of Joel Guy, always looking for a win. 429 of Paul Witt. Green flag is back out, looking to see if he can get back up there. Already thinking about taking that 43 3 wide. About dead even start from the front 2. Gary Sapinski got a fantastic push from the 43. Sandy Curtis. These guys are absolutely sending it. Michael Pegg tried to get up, tried to take away the run from Gary Sapinski, was not able to get up in front of Gary. So it looked like there was maybe a little bit of contact between them. Nothing really to affect the handling of those trucks as we come to the line. This should be 5 to go this time. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look from the gearbox cam. Michael Pegg, he's got all of these trucks behind him looking for all the track position they can get. Gary Sapinski, he's up the track trying to get those runs off the top side, trying to get that draft run down the back stretch. He's got the Ford Larry Eddy with him. So we see that 78 getting bigger and bigger in the rearview mirror of the 777. Gary Sapinski close enough that he could choose to dive it down low. He could go it right there, lane up from the bottom. Looks like he's going to lane up from the bottom, trying to get a little bit better run. And that 777 is off the bottom. He's got it. He's got that run. He is coming, thinking about diving low. Doesn't quite take it. He is pushing Michael Pegg. Probably thinking taking that pass as late as he can to give Michael as few opportunities to pass him back as possible. But that's allowed that 4. He's gotten right back up in the mix. He's diving it low, trying to keep it right there with the 78. 43, Sandy Curtis. He's waiting in the wings. Someone make a mistake. Sandy is here to take advantage. 4 slides up the track. Sandy Curtis dives it in below him, so he's going to be able to go ahead and go for the pass here. It looked like the 4 got in the wall a little bit. Not enough really to hurt that truck, but he is going to slot himself back into the 4th position. Maybe look at that cutback on the 43. Not quite able to get there going down the front stretch. So we are 2 laps to go. 78 of Gary Sapinski, 43 of Sandy Curtis. Both of these guys very hungry for a win. They are eyeing the back end of that 777. Seeing who can get there first. Sandy Curtis not able to get to the inside of Gary Sapinski as they head down the backstretch. We'll be taking the white flag this time by Gary Sapinski all over the rear bumper of Michael Pegg. Sandy Curtis all over the rear bumper of Gary Sapinski as they head towards turn 1. Gary got Sandy to his inside. Michael Pegg's like, please fight side by side. Let me go. Side by side here, coming off the corner. Gary Sapinski to the outside of Michael Pegg. He's got the run. 4 of Larry Eddy diving low on Sandy Curtis. They're going to be side by side going into turn 3. Michael Pegg got the preferred line. Gary Sapinski up top, not quite able to get the side draft he needs. Sends it down the front stretch. Michael Pegg has 4 cars right there together. Michael Pegg, your winner, beating out Gary Sapinski. Sandy Curtis was able to force it into 3rd position, just barely beating out Larry Eddy. And Joel Guy is your 5th place finisher. These guys put on a hell of a finish for us. Fantastic run from all of these drivers involved. As Michael Pegg burns it down, well deserved. We're going to grab our top 3 for interviews. Alrighty, and we'll go ahead and we'll start here with our 3rd place finisher, Sandy Curtis. Sandy, this is William in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Man, that was one hell of a nail biter there at the end. Go ahead and talk us through that last restart.
Yeah, I knew we all had fresh tires, so it was just kind of hold it to the floor and, aim it where you're hoping it's going to go. And, yeah, it was close. Once Larry got to the inside of me there, I figured that's it. But I got him behind Gary, and I just got stuck with him. He went a little high, and I kind of shoved it in between them just to try to squeeze that in there.
And I don't know if you're aware of this, looking at the finishing order between you and Larry, you got him by thousandths of a second. It was so close between the two of you. It was great watching you just battle back and forth there. I was edge of my seat. You guys were fantastic.
Yeah, the car's handled great at first. The tire wear was excellent. I just had a problem coming off a 2. A couple of times I would just break loose and try to just keep it, down at the bottom without hitting the wall and stuff. But yeah, I just now and then off turn 2 I would break loose. But besides that, I thought the car was set up pretty good. Good run.
I mean, it definitely seemed to be really playing to your strengths tonight. I mean, from what I was watching as you were going through the race, you didn't really seem to have too much issue most places. I mean, I noticed a lot of folks are having an issue there in turn 2 the longer the runs went on, especially on fresh tires. But around that 8 to 20 lap mark, everyone seemed to be, kind of leveled out there. I know we've been experimenting a little bit for lower fuel count in these trucks. How do you feel that affects the racing?
It depends where your cautions come out, right? Like tonight, it really didn't take much of effect at all. Caution came out, everybody came and got fuel, everybody was good to go from that point on, right? So if it just stays green is where it's going to make the difference.
Well, I know tonight if we'd had stayed green, that would have forced us into 2 green flag stops, and that always opens people up to mistakes. I mean, Gary looped it coming on pit road for his, so I mean it can catch out anyone.
Gary can loop his every time he comes on the pits. The guy will still finish in the top 3 and drive 1 lap backwards.
Well, Sandy, it's been fantastic talking to you. Always a pleasure. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I usually thank the wife. I just want to say hi to the kids and thank you guys for everything you do. And thank Lucky Dog for putting up these rooms and running their leagues. And hopefully, I can start doing some of this when the points start again.
Well, I certainly hope so. Like I said, it's always a blast talking to you, Sandy. Thank you for taking the time.
William. Take care, right? And good win to Michael again.
Thanks, sir.
All righty, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our 2nd place finisher, Gary Sapinski. Gary's Women in the booth. You got me?
Okay, well.
Fantastic recovery drive. I mean, you had that caution that puts you in the back of the field, right back, looped it on pit road, managed to get up to 2nd. We're challenging for the win. I mean, how do you do it? How do you have the worst of luck and still turn it into a podium?
I don't know. You just got to put yourself in the right spot to get up there. And you got to be aggressive, and you got to get yourself at least a chance. And I see Michael out there. He wasn't messing around either. There was 3 wide, and he wanted to get back up in that clean air. That clean air is everything. I will say that. It feels really good. You can't. These trucks are so you pick up the draft, and then you can't lose anybody. You know what I mean? Maybe in the long run, but you're not going to lose anybody. The draft is such a huge, big part of this track here.
You know, we were seeing up there in the front, 6-7 car pack for, 10, 15 laps. I think at one point, I mean, the 81, it was a shame what happened with him that he had to drop out, but, he's on, 30 lap old tires, and he was able to keep up with you guys on fresh ones. I mean, it was so powerful, the draft tonight.
Yeah. The only thing he struggled was the corners. But other than that, he'll pick it up, down the straights and everything, which I saw it, big part draft.
Yeah, no, and it was, I mean, I was asking there on the broadcast, we having a bit of a full moon. We had several technical issue cautions, and I mean, besides that, they just looked like people getting loose. I didn't really get a chance to play too much with it during practice, but I know less fuel in a truck kind of makes it looser. How was the truck handling the longer the runs went on?
It was definitely loose, for sure. That last run right there, I didn't even take any fuel, and it felt a little tight. I should have put just a little bit of fuel in it, and it probably would have been perfect, because I figured, I was kind of loose anyway, so let me just take some fuel out. Actually, the more fuel you take out, the tighter you get. So I took more fuel out of it to make it tighter, but that I should have put a little more fuel in it to make it looser.
I mean, side by side with Michael Pegg, I want to say you and Michael, I mean, it was really close. I want to say about a bumper difference, 5/100ths of a second. And then, Larry and Sandy behind you guys, door to door, banging off of each other. Absolutely fantastic run. I mean, it takes a lot of respect and racecraft for you guys to be able to do that. So absolutely commendable. Phenomenal finish.
Yeah, I had a really good time tonight. I had a lot of fun there. Right at the end there. I mean, it's a little more cautions than what we expect, though, but it was fun.
Well, is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go there, Gary?
I'm going to say congrats to Michael. He did a great job tonight, and I know he's been kind of busy lately. Honeydew list or whatever. He's out there cutting trees down. I don't know what he's doing. He's crazy out there. But I'm going to thank Lucky Dog. I'm going to thank you, Will, doing a great job. Thank for everybody out there watching tonight. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, come out and join with us, Lucky Dogs in Racing. Race with us. We have a lot of fun out here. And thanks God above for everything. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Gary, and we hope to get to talk to you next time.
Thank you, Will. Have a good night.
All right, and so that leads us to our race winner, the 777 of Michael Pegg. Michael's with me in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Man, if I can imagine anyone in the field who needs a towel right now, it's probably you. You had people breathing down your neck all night long.
Oh, man, you should have been on the radio. Yeah, I could see it coming, man. Every time a caution comes, I was like, no. Yeah, it's more cautions than we needed tonight, but what a setup, man. The setup was absolutely incredible tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine. It's the iRacing default. I mean, usually when you run those, they're super tight.
A lot different than last time we were here. Tonight, it was incredible. Really, just what an outstanding setup. Yeah, the weather was perfect. The setup was incredible. It was really awesome. A little on the loose side. That's what I like, though.
Well, that kind of brings me to the next question I was going to ask you. I mean, I know the less fuel you put in these trucks at the start of a run, the looser it tends to be. With Brian playing with the fuel amounts, how do you feel that affected the overall racing this evening?
Well, Gary didn't take any fuel in his last pit stop, and I did. I topped it off so the car would be even, so I didn't slide out coming around the corner or something with it too light. That's why I went ahead and took a full load of fuel.
I mean, it was definitely the right call.
Yeah, fuel tonight,
I looked down. We weren't going to make it, so we're going to have to stop. Even on that last one, if it would have stayed green, we were still going to have to stop twice. I think I stopped at laps 59. We were going to stop. We were going to do laps 80. And a caution came out. Wow.
I mean, and that caution for a lot of guys was, a godsend. I mean, it meant that you got to pit under caution. I mean, Paul Witt was not going to make it from where he pitted. He came down pit road 5 laps before you did. So if you were shy, he definitely was. But,
yeah, that's why he went ahead and pitted, because we weren't going to make it. We were splitting it up. We thought about doing it at lap 50, go 25 and 25, and then I said, well, let's do lap 60 and 80, and then Paul shot down pit road, I think at 55. But yeah, it was fun tonight. It was a lot of fun. It was a blast. I hate some of those guys taken out, and I hate we had some of the cautions, but outstanding race.
I mean, it was a lot of fun to watch from up here. Those trucks, the longer the run really seemed to become a handful. I mean, Gary mentioned it was loose. I mean, just about everyone I talked to in practice said it felt a little on the loose side, and then you mentioning it was loose. So sounds like it became a handful the longer things went on.
Yeah, it was great, man. I absolutely loved it. I knew when that last caution come out, I said, man, you guys better look out if Sandy's got tires. He's deadly with 10 to go. He's like the last guy you want to race with 10 to go. Like, he has no fear of tires. Even when Gary pulled up next to me, even with 5 to go, in my mind, I'm still saving tires. I just programmed that way. That time before, I was 96, 91 on the right.
And the racing that you guys had, just swapping the positions back and forth, I don't think you lost the lead there on that restart, but you had someone breathing down your neck the entire time. I gotta ask, I'm usually not in that position. I'm usually the guy behind you challenging instead of the guy ahead holding it off. How difficult it is that holding off those super fast guys behind you?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, because you couldn't. The inside line was faster than the outside, and I wanted around the outside because I was trying to pull Gary and Paul up front with me, and some of those guys were on the inside, and even Larry was on the inside. I kept trying to pull some of the guys forward, and the inside, if you didn't block, they were coming by you. Like Sandy tonight, he'd have been by me if I didn't block on him. He came out of nowhere.
It was a nail biter up here for sure. I wasn't certain which one of you 4 was going to come home victorious. Obviously, all of you had, prime real estate, and going for it. And, congratulations to all of you, keep it pointed in the right direction. We see the professionals do that and not be able to hold it together. So it's phenomenal seeing that kind of racing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun tonight. A lot of side by side. Wish it could have stayed green the whole time, but that's the way it is.
Well, I know that you're usually feeling a rumbly in your stomach right about now.
Hell
so
yeah.
Probably need to let you get to dinner. So is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yes, sir. I want to thank God himself. I want to thank Lucky Dog. I want to thank all the members that come out and race tonight. I want to thank all the people that watch. I want to thank Lucky Dog Broadcast, and you, William, especially. I want to thank Brian for putting everything together. All the regulators coming out tonight running. And I want to thank Cash, Molly, Tracy, and Winston.
Thank you, Michael. Fantastic run this evening. And hopefully we get to talk to you next time.
Thanks, sir.
I mean, that's, I own all the that.
All righty. And that should wrap us up for the evening. I do believe, like I said earlier, this is our last recruitment race for our truck series. So if you like what you see and want to come out and run with us, go ahead and look us up, Lucky Dog Sim Racing. On iRacing, there will be, I think we have, the way it is done is we have each of our different series ordered under a different league. And there is 5 of them. There is the Gen 4 Cup cars on Monday. There's the Gen 6 Cup cars on Tuesday. There is the Wednesday. I believe it is a Wednesday short track truck racing. There's the 1.5 mile truck racing on Thursdays. Late model stocks on Friday, and Xfinity Super Speedways on Saturday. So whichever one you like, go ahead, drop us a line. We'd love to have you. Think you'll hear from me again next week, Tuesday, for our Gen 6 series. But until then, I think that'll do us for the evening. Have a good one.